53, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Tuesday, April 18th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitter, Instagram, and streaming live on YouTube as we head till 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210. The phone number, Twitter, Instagram, at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Dawn Stenslin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Anthony Dorenzo, Daniel Valdez, our associate producers, as we got a big show in store for you today. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great.
Not as well as Jalen Hurts is.
Oh, my gosh.
My Lord.
Hey, Jalen, big fan since day one. Can you loan me a 20 spot? Gregory, how are you?
I wish I was Jalen Hurts this morning. Or the Philadelphia 76ers, who got a win last night.
Woo!
Which we called.
All right, it's enough sports. Let's keep it moving. My wife says, when are you going to get $255 million? I said, I'm holding out for $275. Oh, we got some good stuff today.
Yeah, buddy.
We're going to get to John Fetterman, his return, and he stays on brand. The Bidens are officially the Corleones of politics.
Did he make a full day?
I don't know. I did not have his calendar. Actually, I do. Hold on. Yeah, it's pretty blank. It's just like when he was in Braddock. We'll get to that story. The Bidens add more members to their crime family. They're like a stable in wrestling. They're like the NWO. They just keep racking up new members, if you get that wrestling reference. We've got a bus driver update. Our favorite Ohio bus driver is raking in the money.
Damn it! How much more do you expect me to take?
She's going to keep taking all she can get.
She's raking in the money?
Yeah, well, not like Jalen Hurts, but she's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
We'll give you that story as we continue. And then also, Sam Oropeza at 9:10 this morning, Republican candidate for city council at large. And definitely want to get his thoughts on this crime curfew that we have at the Fashion District with 2 p.m. So we'll get to his thoughts on that and a couple of other things, as he is obviously running for a spot in local politics, and he'll join us in the final hour of the show. But before we get to all of that, 6:05 on this Tuesday morning, Dawn Stenslin with the first shot at the news here on a Tuesday.
And good morning. We are sponsored by United Tire in the 6 a.m. news here on Kayal and Company News Live. 53 degrees. I'll tell you how much of a warm-up is in store. That's coming up in just a moment. In the news this morning, we have police in Montgomery County investigating a double shooting that has left 2 people hospitalized this morning. So according to the Lansdale police, detectives were actually received that 911 call to the 400 block of Walnut Street for a report of a shooting late last night before midnight. So they've been on the scene overnight as they investigate the situation. Authorities say one person was driven to the hospital, another airlifted to local hospitals. We don't have much more information on the situation. The condition of both the victims unknown, and police say there is no threat to the public. So many questions swirling about this very, safe neighborhood. We don't talk about many shootings in Lansdale, Montgomery County in the burbs here. So was this some kind of a domestic situation? We don't have all of the answers or all of the word, as investigators are still on the scene this morning. And in Chester County, police are now asking for the public's help in finding 2 missing 12-year-old girls. So Grace Dominguez Milan and Daniela Alvarado Regaldo were last seen Saturday. The 2 were seen in Malvern, Pennsylvania, around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And police say they may be at special risk of harm or injury. They've been searching for these girls, and now putting out this all alert. State police Federal authorities now involved in the search for these missing girls. So they're short, brunette. They have their pictures on online right now, but a lot of grave concern for the whereabouts of these 12-year-old girls. We have the fire marshal called in this morning to investigate what appears to be a murder and arson. This is in Northeast Philadelphia happening this morning. Police say that they were initially called to this Honda CRV on Sylvester Street near Howell Street. And once they put out the fire, the vehicle fire where they were called this morning, then they realized there was a body in the back seat that is unrecognizable. Brought in a canine, the arson canine specialist. So they're checking the situation, but a grave concern there in the Northeast as firefighters made that grim discovery. In sports this morning, well, we have a lot of good news, especially if you are Jalen Hurts. Hurts so good, with Hurts reportedly agreeing to this 5-year extension deal worth $255 million. That from a league source confirming. And the contract includes $179 cool million guaranteed for our QB, Jalen Hurts, $255 million.
That guy was benched at halftime of the national championship game because he couldn't throw a forward pass. And he's now the highest paid player in the league. Life comes at you fast, folks. So if you have it rough, just know tomorrow could be better.
What's the what do you think is the combined total of all of the quarterbacks in the NFC East?
Way too much money. Way too much. So in Philadelphia right now, between Embiid, Hurts, and Bryce Harper, it's like almost $1 billion worth of contracts. I'm in the wrong profession.
Well, of course, we all are.
I know. Why didn't God give me the ability to fire a freaking pigskin? Anyway.
Jalen Hurts.
Thank you.
To all of you who booed him,
Mm-hmm.
remember that after Carson Wentz.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Just shut it.
Yes. And by the way, I think Carson Wentz was on Fox and Friends yesterday. Anybody see that?
Well,
it looks like him, but I don't know that it's him. But if not, it's his doppelganger.
I saw you tweet out a picture of it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys with ginger beards, they all look the same.
Philadelphia Sixers, as Greg Stocker alluded to at the top of the hour, Sixers take 2-0 the series lead in the NBA playoffs, defeating the Nets 96-84 last night. Game 3 tips off 7:30 p.m. Thursday in Brooklyn.
And more importantly, covering.
You're 2-0, by the way, I think.
Thank you.
You've taken the Sixers both times.
Yes.
Nice work out of you.
Thank you.
And nice work out of United Tire, our sponsor this morning. Treat your car well, and it'll reward you with a long life. Now through April 22nd, get up to $100 off the purchase of 4 BF Goodrich all-terrain or performance tires. Drive on tires you can count on. Visit UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Don't drive alone. Drive United. Thank you, United Tire, for sponsoring our first news this Tuesday morning, April 18th. And let's get to the forecast, and I think you're going to love it. We are in for quite the warm-up this week as we look at the T-Mobile Weather Center forecast for you this morning. So we are heating up. If my T-Mobile will get unstuck. So today is a chillier day. Remember, I told you yesterday we just had to get through a cooler Tuesday. So today we're just at 59 degrees, but bright sunny skies through Friday. But then the warm up starts 67 for your Wednesday tomorrow. And then Thursday, 82 degrees. Friday, 88 degrees.
Yes.
Near 90 degrees on Friday. Crazy. Then we cool off for the weekend. So there's some rain moving through the weekend, but still near 80 on Saturday. But like I say, the showers move through, cool things down for Sunday, 64. It looks like a lot of rain moving in on Sunday, but still a very warm spring-like week. Just today, reminder that we're still in the 50s today, but near 90 by Friday. That's the T-Mobile Weather Center forecast. I'm Dawn Stensland, Kayal Company News Live.
Dawn with the news. Thank you very much, Dawn. 855-839-1210, the number here on a Tuesday morning as we get set for another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal Company.
Today's Big Take, the biggest threat to students is not school shootings. In fact, it's indoctrinators with agendas and a intent to deceive parents. You know, the left is very loud. Make no mistake about it. But they are great at their selective silence. When it comes to what should keep parents on pins and needles between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m., they shout from the highest of mountaintops about the fear of another mass shooting at a school. But here on Kayal and Company, we gave you the math a few weeks ago after the Nashville school shooting. Approximately 175 deaths in the last quarter century from school shootings. We don't have a pandemic of gun tragedies in schools. We have a pandemic of believing the fear that is created by the media and the fear that is driven by the left. But if you are paying attention to what's actually going on in schools at a much more alarming rate, you've heard the countless, and I mean countless stories of deceitful administrators in school districts and their mission to keep information away from parents. It is happening at a much more rapid frequency than school shootings, and it's not even close. In 2021 alone, there was nearly 42,000 students in schools across America that reported gender identity issues with children. Also, in 2021, approximately 5,063 children started puberty or hormone blockers. Both of these figures courtesy of Reuters. But keep in mind, that was 2021 when schools were kind of in limbo. Some of them open, some of them closed during the pandemic. My guess is that number has gone up. My educated guess is we are seeing far more than 175, the number of school shooting deaths since 1999. I'm thinking way more than 175 instances where teachers and guidance counselors and social workers are not being truthful with parents about the well-being of their kids. But we do have two prime examples that we will highlight for you this morning. And it goes from the east coast of Maine all the way to the west coast of California, which means it's happening in between as well. We start with case number one. A mother in Maine who filed a federal lawsuit against her daughter's school district after a counselor encouraged her 13-year-old to undergo a gender transition, gave her a chest binder, and urged her not to tell her parents. Amber Levine sued the Great Salt Bay Community School Board and other school officials in federal court last Tuesday for violating her constitutionally protected parental rights and allowing her daughter to undergo a social transition without her parents' knowledge or consent, according to the complaint filed by the Goldwater Institute on her behalf. School officials refused to provide answers regarding the transition when they were pressed on it back in February. Here is Amber at a school board meeting presenting her side of the story.
She's a minor child, my minor child. And under no circumstances she has been provided a test binder without knowledge of the parents. This secret has caused our child exacerbated symptoms of distress, anxiety, and depression. A social worker at the school encouraged the student to keep a secret from their parents. This is the very definition of child predatory sexual group. Predators work to gain a victim's trust by threatening registers in their parents.
Following that speech made in Maine, she went national with her story. Here she is explaining in further detail her story on Fox News. Listen.
Yeah, they've basically defended the social workers' behaviors, which has been a little concerning for sure.
What did they specifically say? It's okay to transition a child?
Yeah, they've essentially said that the behavior of the social worker, they don't see any wrongdoing here. They didn't do an investigation. They essentially had a conversation with the social worker and myself and decided that he did nothing wrong.
Oh my gosh. How's your daughter doing?
You know, I want to protect her privacy, but she's doing really great academically. I've pulled her from the school and she's homeschooling currently. And so she's doing well.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Have you been kind of attacked online by other people?
Yeah, unfortunately, this has become a political issue. It's a parental rights issue. And whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, I firmly believe that you should want your rights as a parent to be protected. I spoke at a legislative hearing on Thursday against a bill here in the state of Maine, LD 394, that would allow social workers to behave like this. And so I encourage you, if you live in the great state of Maine, to reach out to your representatives and encourage them to not allow this bill to pass.
So, what is the legal issue here? And do they have a case? Her attorney joined her on Fox News and had this to say about their claim.
I think we're well positioned to win in court. The Supreme Court has long held that parents have a fundamental right to control and direct the education, upbringing, and healthcare decisions of their children. That right was clearly violated here by the Great Salt Bay Community School Board and some school officials, because parents cannot meaningfully exercise this right if schools are empowered to keep information from parents.
Schools going secretive. It's kind of scary if you think about it. My wife was a social worker for 13 years, and my wife is also a protective mother of twin girls. She left the industry and the profession in 2019, and I can't imagine what she would do or say if she was a school social worker today and administrators wanted her to keep that from the parents. I'm glad she doesn't have to deal with these dilemmas in 2023. But that's just case number one. And then we have case two. Chico, California school district mother Aurora Regino says her daughter was transitioned from a female to a male by school staff, also without her knowledge. The school counselor capitalized on a vulnerable time in Regino's daughter's life, as the father had just passed away and the mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Regino is now suing the school district. The district's parental secrecy policy to this day remains in place. Here is that mother in California at a school board meeting. Take a listen.
Hi, for those that don't know me, my name is Aurora Regino, and I am the mother that filed the lawsuit in federal court against Chico Unified for transitioning my daughter without my knowledge. I'm here today to tell my story so parents and the public know what is going on in our schools. Last year, my 11-year-old daughter was in elementary school here at Chico Unified, and her elementary school transitioned her from female to male behind my back. Shortly before this happened, my father had recently passed away, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. My daughter was distressed and began questioning her sexuality, so she decided to reach out to a wellness counselor at her elementary school. The day my daughter shared with her guidance counselor that she felt like a boy, the counselor immediately affirmed this new identity. From then on, the counselor continued to have one-on-one meetings with my daughter without my knowledge. During one of those one-on-one meetings, my daughter told the counselor she wanted to tell me about her new identity. The counselor ignored her requests and did nothing to support her in letting me know what was going on at school. Throughout her transition, my daughter changed very quickly, was bullied, and as a result was very unhappy. And because her school kept this transition a secret from me, she was on her own.
California. These are just two of what I presume to be a voluminous amount of likely similar cases going on across the United States of America. And I would wager to say they far outnumber mass school shootings throughout this nation. But as I said at the beginning of the big take, the left is great at practicing selective silence, despite usually having the biggest mouth in the room. They'd rather drum up fear over guns instead of the fear of your child being transitioned in a school, which has a 1 in 10 million chance of happening. Remember, we gave you that statistic last week. The chance of your child being killed in a school shooting, 1 in 10 million. Judging by the facts and numbers I gave you a few minutes ago on gender cases in American schools 2 years ago in 2021, I'd say what I presented to you today is far more likely to happen than a 1 in 10 million chance. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take on a Tuesday morning. If you want to jump in, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Also on social media, we are at 1210 WPHT on Twitter and Instagram, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. He stays on brand in his return, and the family expands. We'll get to those stories When we come back, live on a Tuesday morning, it's Kayal and Company, Nick, Greg, Dawn, Anthony, and Daniel here on Talk Radio 1210 WP.